Hey guys, welcome back. Today will be a chill video of me unboxing my iPhone 13 Pro Sarah Blue. I just thought I'd let you guys know my first impression of this phone. The iPhone 13 Pro is smooth and fast to use now because of the 120Hz. I'm not a heavy phone user, but now that I create content, the camera of iPhone 13 Pro will prove to be a great help for my TikTok career. Now before you scream at me and accuse me of being an Apple slave, do know that I've been using the same old Oppo phone that cost like $400 for the past 4 years. I'm a happy user because this phone is a huge leap as compared to my previous device. And since now I edit my videos on my MacBook Pro, it'll be useful if I have an iPhone to ease my workflow, because time is the ultimate currency. I'm just kidding. I think perhaps I'm really becoming slave to the Apple ecosystem. Someone please save me. But damn, look at this pretty phone. Look at the Sarah Blue finishing. Oof. Okay, I don't know why I'm taking so long. I'm unfamiliar with the inner workings of an unboxing video, hence I'm struggling. But of course, this is an investment channel, we can't go out of topic. So I thought I will share 2 learning objectives with you guys today. Let's sidetrack for a while. So what makes Apple so successful as a business? Other companies like Samsung and Microsoft are always looking at Apple and thinking of how they can beat Apple. But Apple, on the other hand, doesn't care about all these competitors. Instead, Apple asks themselves questions like, how do we make the user experience better? From a design thinking standpoint, they gather feedbacks and remove what is unnecessary. You can see it from the phones they design, the iMacs, the AirPods, the MacBooks, and even their M1 chip. That is what I love about Apple. It is their design and integration of their products. Now let's talk about what I hate about Apple as a company. What made Apple successful was the launch of the iPhone by Steve Jobs. It was years ahead of any phones in the market. So innovation is what makes a compelling product. And when you have superior product, your market share increases. You can set the price and have control over the price because there's no competitor. So with dominant market share and price control, that itself translates to a lot of revenue. Since Apple launched the iPhone, Apple have been sitting on a lot of cash. So when Steve Jobs died in 2011, Tim Cook took over as CEO and he was pressured by the major shareholders to give out dividends to the shareholders in 2012. Now this is very short-term thinking, because what got them there in the first place was investing in research and development, being innovative and producing superior product. To solve their cash problem, Tim Cook was advised by Warren Buffett to use Apple's excess cash to buy back their shares when it is cheap. Apple is using all the profits to do cash buyback and giving out dividends, instead of spending on R&D. So do you guys understand why Apple is much less innovative now? Like why does every new version of an iPhone feels like an optimization? So for example, their battery life increased by 20%, their camera captures like 10% better, etc. But never a new revolutionary phone. And this is why I don't invest in Apple, even though in theory, Apple is a cash generating monster. So Apple is a company that is easy to understand. The iPhones, the iPad, the Macs, etc. The sale of all this hardware and some software revenue adds up to the total revenue. Apple is also the largest company by market capitalization for the past 10 years. And I will always use Apple as a measure to see if the markets are expensive or cheap. I'm sure Apple will continue to grow, but at a slower pace. When you're growing at a slower pace, why are there people willing to pay 27 to 35 years of earnings for Apple stock? This is when you know the market is overheated. The market is overstimulated because of money printing. Most of the things are overvalued and this can turn south due to many factors. And one of it is when interest rates is increased. When interest rates increase, cost of borrowing increase. The amount of credit in the world decrease. Margin level in stock market decrease. And because credit is a form of money, money supply decrease as well. So when borrowing money is expensive, people who are using margin are not incentivized to borrow because of high interest. And short sellers knows that when interest rates increase, market falls and hence they short even more and the market falls even further. Another factor, for example, is that they can raise capital gains tax to force investors to exit their position before the new tax plans takes place. In conclusion, Apple is the kind of company that's easy to understand and track the historical PE to see if the entire stock market is too greedy or too fearful. Okay, now the other learning objective I want to share is the one big difference between the rich mindset and the poor mindset. Like this iPhone 13 Pro for example. When I want to purchase something, I can wait and I'm not in a hurry to purchase unless there is at least some form of utility that can justify the purchase. You can look at my previous Oppo phone, it's cracked. I spent 4 years of delayed gratification, and now purchasing the latest iPhone model does not even pinch me. The biggest difference between the rich and the poor mindset is how we handle money. It is almost as if the rich have the ability to stretch their dollars and maximize it efficiently. And the poor mindset does not care, they just splurge and be wasteful of their own money. For example, this iPhone 13 Pro Sarah Blue cost me about $1,650. I stretched it out to 24 months paying 0% interest and about $68 per month. The money I was supposed to pay Apple will be sitting inside my investment account, investing in Tesla, and acting as a collateral for me to sell more put option to generate money income. If Tesla 2 times in 2 to 3 years from now, I would have gotten this phone for free because I decided to pay it in installment with 0% interest. So when you pay in installment, the future money will be worth lesser, but you pay the same amount of dollars. Your dollars is always worth more today than tomorrow. So in a way, my debt decays and worth lesser through time. So let me just show you an illustration. Before I spent on a huge ticket item, the money was already invested for a period of time. So when I decide to make a purchase, I stretch it out to low interest payments. I use the money that I was supposed to pay for the phone to act as collateral to borrow more money to create value and make more money. I let the low interest debt decay because of inflation. Of course, I think an iPhone is a very small purchase. It doesn't matter much in the grand scheme of things, but it is because I have the rich mindset and whatever I do is very different from people who do not adopt the same mindset as me. And if you observe person A who has a rich mindset versus person B who have a poor mindset, the things they do differently stretch over a long period of time. The difference is huge. So I guess today what I want to teach is first, about how we can use Apple stock to benchmark if the stock market is overpriced. Secondly, share my thought process when I spend on things that I consider as luxury. And also about how the rich thinks differently from the poor. It all boils down to mindset and being resourceful. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like this video to support me. Subscribe if you haven't. I will see you next week.